Hello and welcome to a very short topic on positronium. Do you know what is positronium? It's an exotic particle, an exotic unstable particle, an atom. We'll talk about that. What is positronium? If you are a class 10 student, class 9 student, then also you can understand a part of it. But if you are a class 11 student, you can understand the whole of what I am going to say about positronium. You know positron, you know electron, you know hydrogen atom. If you do not know what is positron, let's start, right? Here you see positronium is formed when a positron, which is also called an anti-electron, combines with an electron. Positron and electron, they are antiparticles of each other. If electron is the particle, then its antiparticle is positron. Now let me tell you, a particle and its antiparticle, they are identical in all properties except one property. In this case, it is charge. Electron is -1, positron is +1, like proton, but its mass is identical with electron. It is very, very negligible. 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, same mass, but charge like proton +1, electron is -1. So these two are antiparticles. Positron has similar mass as an electron, but has one unit of positive charge like proton. The symbol of positron is E +1, 0. 0 is not that it's massless, it has a mass, but it's negligible. That is why it is customary to write 0. But don't be swayed away by the symbol 0 and think that it is massless. Electron, positron, proton, they all have masses, but compared to proton, the mass of electron is negligible, so we write 0. So also electron, positron and electron, they have negligible masses, we write 0 in their expressions. And the charge is +1 for positron and -1 for electron. Electron is very familiar to you, you know it very well, but you perhaps do not know what is positron. Let me tell you how positron is formed. It is formed by unstable isotopes, radioactive isotopes. Unstable isotopes are often called nuclides. Isotopes has another synonymous term called nuclides. So many unstable nuclides like potassium 38, sodium 22, carbon 11, these are the mass numbers, ejects a positron. They are called positron emitter. Some are alpha emitters, some are beta emitters, and some are positron emitters. You will know the details about radioactivity later in your radioactivity course, nuclear chemistry or nuclear physics course. But you just know that positron is ejected out from the nucleus of many unstable isotopes or nuclides like carbon 11, like potassium 38. And when they come out, when one positron comes out of the nucleus, goes out, instead of going out as positron, sometimes it combines with an electron, a valence electron from the same unstable nuclide. So the combination of positron, which is coming from the nucleus, and an electron which is there outside the nucleus, that is in the cells, the valence cell, they combine to form a very funny and exotic particle called positronium. and its symbol is PS. It's just like another element, PS. PS is positronium that contains a positron and an electron. Where from positron comes? Positron is not available everywhere. It comes when a particular isotope like carbon 11 or potassium 38 now produces a positron. That is its natural decay. It decays, just uranium 238 isotope decays by alpha emission. Thorium 234 decays by beta emission. Similarly, carbon 11, potassium 38, they decay by positron emission. I already told you what is a positron, right? Positron is exactly looking like an electron. So far as its bulk is concerned, is as thin and light as an electron. But if you look to the charge, it is like a proton, has a +1 charge, while electron is -1. So that positron particle comes from the nucleus with a tremendous speed. It sometimes comes out, but sometimes it combines with the valence electron of that carbon 11, and it comes out as a very, very funny exotic atom called positronium, which contains one positron and one electron, right? I'm not going to tell you how a positron is created inside the nucleus. That story will be unraveled to you when you study radioactivity, right? Now see, this is a positronium particle, an atom, an electron and a positron. They are revolving around in a orbit. It's not like hydrogen atom where the nucleus containing a proton is situated at the center, that is the static nucleus, and the electron is only rotating. But here it looks like a hydrogen atom, but the difference is the two particles are rotating, one following the other, just like a police officer following a thief. They are following each other. I mean, rather the positron is following electron, or you can also say electron is following a positron, and slowly and steadily they will be coming closer. The police and the thief will be coming closer, and when the thief will be caught by the police, then something unusual will happen in this case. When electron really unites with positron, a phenomenon happens that is called annihilation. The destruction of both particle and antiparticle occurs to produce pure energy. The mass completely is annihilated, is destroyed, forming energy. We'll talk about that after some time. So it is similar to hydrogen atom, as it contains one unit of positive charge and one unit of negative charge. Positron and electron simultaneously undergo rotation, unlike a hydrogen atom, in which the nucleus or the proton is thought to be static at the center. But here in positronium, both the particles, electron and positron, they are simultaneously rotating in an orbit, right? So the symbol of positronium is PS. Remember, PS. Now see, this is a positronium, an exotic, lovely particle. You know, I will tell you how it is important in modern technology, medical technology, how positronium is very, very useful in detecting diseases like cancer, like brain tumor, like Parkinson disease, and many others, and also for the treatment, the nuclear treatment, the nuclear medicine, how positronium is very, very useful. Now positronium is similar to a hydrogen atom. The difference is in hydrogen atom, a proton, a massive proton is there at the center nucleus. Here the positive charge is very, very thin like an electron. Therefore, since it is as thin as an electron, so no one can remain static. Both are in motion, one following the other. But this exotic atom is very, very short-lived. It lives for some nanoseconds. You understand what is nanosecond? 10 to the power 9 is nano. So maybe 1 to 100 nanosecond is its lifetime. Then it will destroy. The two particles will fuse, will unite with each other. So the next stage of positronium is annihilation. So before annihilation, before the self-destruction of the two masses into pure energy, what we call annihilation, it forms this exotic atom similar to hydrogen atom, where you can also apply, if you are a class 11 student, you can apply the Bohr's theory to find out its energy level, its radius and all that, velocity, everything you can find out. Let's proceed. Now there are two types of positronium atoms, two types having two different life periods, because they remain alive for few nanoseconds. After that they die. Die means what? The two particles, they fuse, they unite, they boom, they destroy each other, forming only pure energy, no mass. This is mass energy conversion, right? There are two types of positroniums. One is para positronium, also called singlet positronium, where the two spins are in opposite direction. If one particle, say positron, spins clockwise, in a clockwise manner like this, the electron will be spinning. I'm not saying rotating. They are following, one is following the other, but I am talking about the spin. If one spins clockwise, the other spins anti-clockwise. So that kind of positronium atom is called para positronium or singlet positronium. And the other one, and its lifetime is very, very less, 0.12 nanosecond. On the other hand, there is another variety of positronium atom, that is ortho positronium or triplet positronium, where the two spins are parallel. That means if the positron is spinning clockwise, the electron is also spinning clockwise. If this anti-clockwise, this also anti-clockwise. So in that case, it has been found the lifetime before self-destruction, before annihilation, it lives for 136 nanosecond. Don't be happy about 136. Be unhappy about nano. 10 to the power minus 9. So, but compared to para, ortho has a greater lifetime. But both will die. As soon as they form, after few nanoseconds, they will die. Now, let us apply the Bohr's theory. If you are a class 11 student, if you are not, then stop watching for some time. And then you straightway go to the last part where I will tell you the application of positronium, right? Which is a combination of positron and electron, an exotic particle, right? So the energy level is exactly similar to hydrogen atom, electron. Hydrogen atom Z is equal to 1. You know K Z square by N square. The value of the constant is 2 pi square. Mass of the electron into charge of the electron to the power 4 by H square. This is Z square by N square. N is the principal quantum number, the cell number, K, L, M, N and so on. So N is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. And H is the Planck's constant. M is the mass of the electron, E is the charge of the electron, right? So the only thing it is missing here, 2 is missing here. Because it is divided by 2, so 2 they have got cancelled, so you are getting this. Let us know how we can derive the energy equation. This is very simple. Let me tell you, if you do not know, that the mass of electron that we use in getting the energy equation for hydrogen atom or hydrogen like species, this Me is not truly the mass of electron. It is in fact the reduced mass. The reduced mass of the system containing a proton and electron. So the system has a reduced mass equal to mass of electron. I mean, it is almost same as the mass of electron. That is why we feel as if the mass of proton has no role to play in finding out the centripetal force that we did in our energy calculation in hydrogen atom. So remember, Me, we write Me, but in fact it is the reduced mass of the entire system, the two particle system, proton and electron. Right? Then let's know what is reduced mass. Reduced mass of a system containing two particles is the mass of the two multiplied with each other in the numerator. In the denominator, the two will be added up. M1 into M2 divided by M1 plus M2. Right? So this is the expression for reduced mass mu. Same will be applicable here. For hydrogen atom, it is mass of proton into mass of electron by Mp plus Me. But since mass of electron is negligible compared to mass of proton, so this term Me is neglected in the denominator, because compared to mass of proton, mass of electron is negligible. Once you neglect Me, then this MP get cancelled and the reduced mass is almost same as mass of electron. That's why we were taking mass of electron without remembering that we are actually using the reduced mass of the system. Same thing will be applicable here. To find out, supposing it is a positronium, electron is here, electron is moving, and here positron is moving. They are moving. Right? This is positron, this is electron, they are moving, following each other. So to find out the reduced mass of the system, there is no nucleus here, right? To find out the reduced mass of the system, same principle, mass of positron into mass of electron by mass of positron plus mass of electron. But the two are identical in mass. So in the numerator, it becomes square of 1. And in the denominator, it will be twice of 1. So let's take Me. Me is the mass of electron, mass of proton, same thing. Mass of positron, mass of electron, they are same. So in the numerator, Me square, in the denominator, 2Me. So 1 Me get cancelled and becomes Me by 2. So the reduced mass of positronium, don't confuse with positronium with positron. Positronium is an atom containing positron and electron. Positron is a particle, one particle, having a charge equal to that of proton and mass equal to that of electron. And how positron and electron, they are related? They are anti of each other. They are antiparticles of each other. And what happens when the two antiparticles, particle and antiparticle, not two antiparticles, particle and antiparticle, they ultimately fuse. They will be, following one with the other. In positronium, one is following the other. Like a police follows a thief. But ultimately, when the police will catch hold of the thief, then police and the thief both will die. And in their place, you get pure energy. I will tell you that. So, if you put Me in the equation for hydrogen atom, energy equation for hydrogen atom, in place of Me, you put Me by 2. In place of Me in hydrogen atom, in case of positronium, you put Me by 2. Therefore, 2 get cancelled. I have written this term, pi square Me E4 by h square. Me is the mass of electron, same as mass of positron, right? And therefore, this constant value in SI, this is in CGS system. This derivation is in CGS. But when you convert to, this is CGS. This is CGS. But when you convert to SI, then the constant value is 13.6 electron volt, right? So, or 2.18 into 10 to the power minus 18 joule, right? When you, and then if this part 2 pi square me 4 by s square, that converted to SI, I am not saying this is the expression for there is no epsilon term, that is permittivity, right? So if you convert to SI, then you will find 13.6 divided by 2, this 2. This is the constant part. So 13.6 by 2, that becomes 6.8. So the constant for positronium, to find out the energy value in different cells, there are also quantum theories applicable. K element cells are available. So you can find out the energy of each cell from this equation, minus 6.8, which is 13.6 by 2 into 1 by n square. N is 1, first cell. N is 2, second cell, and so on. That is an electron volt. So when n is equal to 1, the first cell has a energy equal to minus 6.8 electron volt. Second cell, it will be 2 square is minus 1.7 electron volt, and so on. And so on. It is exactly divided by 2. I mean, and the ME, and here it is K is also K divided by 2. The K constant term is also 2 times less. It is half of the constant term for hydrogen atom. And similarly, you can also find out the radius. You know the radius equation in CGS. This is also in CGS. The radius equation in CGS is this A0, a constant, which is h square by 4 pi square me e square. This A0 into n square. And in place of me, if you write me by 2 in positronium, this is positronium. In that case, the 2 goes up and it becomes, and if you just take away 2 and the rest part is A0, the constant is 0.529 angstrom, so that becomes 2 times greater, 2 A0 into n square. So that if n is equal to 1, that the first cell quantum level of positronium, what is the radius? From the center, not the nucleus, there is no nucleus. From the center, what is its radius? It will be 2A0 into n square. So here is a question for you. Find out the Bohr's radius for the first principal level, energy level in positronium. It is simply 2A0, n is equal to 1. So for the second quantum level, it is 2 square. That is 4 into 2, 8A0, right? And in the third cell, it is 3 3s are 9 into 2, 18A0, and so on. Only 2 times greater than the corresponding hydrogen atoms radii. Now, do you know what happens when positronium dies? I have already told you in advance. Let me read out. Annihilation, when a particle collides with its antiparticle, the two die, and pure electromagnetic energy photons or pure energy are produced out of the destruction of mass. This self-destruction of masses due to union of a particle with its antiparticle into pure energy is called annihilation. You knew what is annihilation? If you are asked, if you are a class 10, class 9 student, if you are asked what is annihilation, then you say when a particle fuses, really combines with its antiparticle, then the particle and antiparticle, they will disappear, they will die, and in their place you get photons, energy photons. You get energy photons. You get energy photons, right? You get energy photons. Now, positron is the antiparticle of electron. So after the very small lifetime, some nanoseconds, say 100 or 0.12, whatever, whether it is a triplet positronium or a singlet positronium, it was an ortho positronium and para positronium, whatever be the case, after the life period of positronium is over, they are bound to collide. They are bound to join each other, fuse with each other. They destroy itself. Itself, why I have written itself? Because it is an atom. Positronium is an atom. So the positronium destroys itself by the annihilation of the two particles that constitute the positronium atom. by annihilation of the two particles present in the atom to form two or more gamma photons. The electromagnetic photon radiation or photon that come out of the annihilation is gamma. You know, alpha, beta, gamma. Alpha, beta are particles, but gamma is not a particle. It is an electromagnetic photon. Yes, it is a massless particle, no doubt. Just like UV, IR, visible, microwave, cosmic waves. So gamma is an electromagnetic photon radiation, and you get two or more. If you are getting you are taking para positronium that undergoes annihilation between its particles, then you get two or even number of gamma photons. And if you are taking orthopositronium, then the annihilation of positron with electron inside the positronium will produce three or odd number of gamma photons. You forget about those details. It's not. Now I've shown you here. This is one is following the other, and this is the singlet or the para positronium where the spin. If one is spinning clockwise, the other one is spinning anti-clockwise. This is spin up. This is spin down. But when the police will catch hold of the thief, when the two will unite, ultimately after a few nanoseconds, both will die. And you get two gamma photons moving in opposite directions, exactly opposite directions. And if it is a triplet positronium, that is an orthopositronium, in that case, the two particle, this is particle and antiparticle. If one is a particle, the other one is antiparticle. When they will collide, they will fuse with each other, they will form minimum 3 photons moving 120 degree away from each other in one plane, as you get 3 gamma photons, right? So that's the beauty and one of the most important application of positronium or the annihilation process between positron and electron is the famous equipment nowadays in use. It's called positron emission tomography, PET. Have you heard what is PET scan? Yeah, some of you might have definitely heard. It has come. It has come to major cities. PET instruments have come up. You must have heard a scan called MRI, CT, MRI. These MRI scans and they are used to diagnose the error, the defect in cells, tissues, whether there is cancer or something. So this is much more powerful than MRI. That is positron emission tomography, PET. Don't confuse PET with the other PET, that is polyethylene terephthalate, which is the terylene fiber or Dacron fiber. That is not. That's a synthetic fiber, plastic. But this is something to do with positron. Nothing in common. That is a plastic PET. But this PET, where the beverage bottles that you use, the plastic bottles, they are made up of PET plastic. That is different. But here, PET is positron emission tomography. What happens? A positron emitter source like carbon-11 or something is introduced in our system, body. Now see, supposing somebody is having some suspected Parkinson disease or say cancer or tumor or any cell defect, he will be allowed to go inside this. This is PET scan machine. This is similar to MRI machine you have seen in many pictures. If you have yourself not gone into a CT scan machine or a MRI scan or a PET scan, this is the most sophisticated scanning machine for human beings. Where you go inside, you will be, prior to that, you will be injected with a some source of positron. Some source which is a positron emitter, right? So that will be there. All positron will be coming out inside your body in the blood, right? Then it will be reaching all parts of the body, including the affected part. And then they will radiate electron. Electron beam will be radiated. So at the particular site, supposing I have some problem here, so they will be radiating electron beam, and positron is inside your blood, it is being injected, so they will be allowed to annihilate before. But tell you, I have told you that before annihilation they will be remaining in the form of the exotic particle that we call positronium. Before they fuse, they will circle with they will produce, they will remain in a circular motion, both of them forming this so-called positronium atom, and after few nanoseconds they will ultimately fuse and annihilate. And once the annihilation is allowed to happen in the affected part, for example, my affected part is here, and the two positron and electron that constitutes the positronium atom is allowed to finally annihilate at the affected site. So that produces high energy gamma photon. I told you gamma has a very short wavelength and a high energy photon. So that high energy photon that is produced at the affected cell, that will image the cell in a very, very magnified manner. The scientists, the doctors, the experts will be able to know. So see, these are the PET scans of Parkinson disease. I can't tell you, I'm not a doctor. A doctor in the appropriate field can tell that this is a normal human being and he is developing Parkinson and he is completely a Parkinson patient. Right? At this stage, if he is detected, then he can be treated. This is normal. This is Parkinson disease just starting. An expert person can analyze what are the changes in the cells, tissues that will lead to the diagnosis of Parkinson disease. Right? So positron, of course, is involved. Positron, electron, they are annihilated. But mind you, before annihilation, positron and electron, they go on rounding with following one with each other. And during that period of rounding and executing circular motion, one following the other, that particular period is the exotic period where an element, PS, is formed. Right? Its lifetime is few nanoseconds, after which it dies because of annihilation and produces gamma photon, a high energy radiation. And nowadays scientists have claimed that positron can be used to prepare many compounds. They can. And also someone has already produced the dipositronium, like H2, dihydrogen. Similarly, a molecule, dipositronium, has also been synthesized. Although having very short short life period, but still they have claimed to have succeeded the preparation of dipositronium molecule. And also positronium hydride, positronium cyanide, they are going to synthesize very soon, and they will see their various applications. How did you like? And if you really have liked this program, then please do not hesitate to do two things. One, to put your finger on the like button, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, my beneficiaries, as I am inclined to believe, are from class 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? If you are in this zone, you do not hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.